This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Pariksha Pe Charcha-Masterclass for Exam Warriors. The participants are Dr. Jyoti Gupta, educationist, and Gaura Dhawanlal, AIR correspondent.
The New Year, along with joyous greetings, New Year resolutions and cool to cold winds across the country, also heralds that time of the year when exam fever starts setting in for schools across the country. Pariksha Pe Charcha Masterclass for Exam Warriors, an initiative from Prime Minister Modi, has some valuable advice for all the educationists and of course for all the children. And educationists across India vouch for that. And we are very happy and delighted to have with us today Dr. Jyoti Gupta. Dr. Jyoti, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Ma'am, so what is that one pill or the pills that one can take to decrease exam fever?
So, as the Prime Minister says that the exams should be taken as utsav, as a festival, not as something that brings stress to the children. And he calls the children as exam warriors. That means somebody who can really win over the exams and the exam fear. So actually speaking, exams should not be taken as stress. They should not be taken as something that gives pressure to the children. It should be taken as an occasion, as an event where after having studied for not just 1 year, but so many years together, you are here to prove yourself and prove that your teachers and your parents have really worked hard with you. And you are here to do well in the examinations. So my take on this is that if bit by bit the children are being studying and they have been taking the assessments and the schools have been giving those assessments to the children, then this is just like one another assessment. So the children are actually, not just the children, even the teachers have worked so hard with the children, ensuring that they know every bit of the syllabi. So the only thing is that children should not think that they will forget when they are writing the examinations. That stress and that anxiety should not be there.
Right,
I'm sure when they sit down to write the exam, that everything comes back to them.
Right. So, I think this is, Dr. Jyoti, a very valid point when we talk of stress. And somewhere it has been ingrained, and we've all been students at some time or the other, that if you're not stressed, then something is wrong. It's imperative that exams are coming and stress has to come with this. This mindset which is coming in, what is the role of parents and teachers in this?
So I would say that parents also become very anxious. They stop entertaining, they stop going anywhere, they stop letting the people come to their house, and they take it as a special occasion. There are a lot of restrictions around the children. So one should take it again as an assessment that happens every year. So what if the question papers are coming from the board and they are not the question papers that are made by the teachers of the school? So they should understand that this is just one more exam, the year-end exam that comes every year for the children. That's an assessment. So even the teachers, because when the children are there in 10th and 12th, their classes begin before the classes of the other children. The classes end before the classes of the other children. There is one pre-board, there is second pre-board. There is so much preparation that has gone in by the children, by the school, by the teachers, by the parents, that there is actually no reason to fear as to why the children will not do well. The only thing is that children should stop comparing themselves with the other children. They should stop comparing notes. How much have you studied? How much syllabus have you done? And they should be off the social media at this point of time. Otherwise, rest of the things should be normal. Yes, they have to put in a little more effort because they can't be whiling away their time. They can't be watching movies. They can't be partying, or they can't be socializing too much at this point of time.
So certain checks and balances.
They require that much of time to put in to revise the entire syllabus, because in the internal examinations it is sometimes that 100% of the syllabus doesn't come in. It is not being assessed, but here it is being assessed. So they need to put in that little time, but it's not difficult. It's not as if children will not be able to take it up.
Dr. Jyoti, you spoke of comparisons, and it's also, I think, fair to mention here that even parents should not be comparing other children with their own child. That also matters.
Absolutely. And no two children are alike. And also the targets and goals of different children are different. There are some who are going to take up the competitive examinations. There are some who are going to go abroad. They've already been granted the admissions. There are some who are going to go to different professional courses. So it's not fair to compare the children. It is not fair to give them the targets vis-a-vis other children. Every child should have a goal of his or her own. Every child should be able to work with that goal in their own selves. And they should have their own targets, and they should not compare. Even the teachers should not compare that so-and-so knows better than you. So it's all very, very individual. It is very, very independent. So one has to respect that.
Right. In terms of, you spoke of going off social media and limiting time, anything which takes away or which is distracting. What is the role of sleep in this?
So I always maintain that the child should sleep for 7 to 8 hours on a mandate, because if the mind is tired, then they won't be able to push their body beyond a particular limit. So the only 3 things they should be doing, in fact, is eating meals at proper time intervals, small, healthy meals they should be eating. They should be sleeping for 7 to 8 hours, and the rest of the time they should only be studying. So sleeping is very, very important. So children should sleep. They should not study the entire night. The date sheets have been very, very good. People who've prepared the date sheets have been very cognizant of this, that the combination of subjects that the children take up, they get enough break of minimum 1 day or 2 days in every exam. So the children should take advantage of that and, really rest themselves the entire night, and then they should just study. So there are 24 hours. Out of that, on a mandate, 7 hours of sleep is extremely important.
What I'm hearing, Dr. Jyoti, is that it's important to have a healthy sleep pattern, 7 to 8 hours, but also critical that before the exam, you must get your full rest so that the brain is rested and your recall, your memory is at its best performance, and you recall all that you've learned the following day when you actually have to put it down on paper.
Absolutely, because many a times the children feel that, I learned it all, but I'm not remembering the answer of this particular time. So I always tell them, shut your eyes, just connect with yourself, take a couple of deep breaths, meditate for those 2 minutes, just about 120 seconds while you're sitting on your seat, and everything is going to come back to you. What you learned, there is no drain that is there in our brain. That will drain everything that we've learned. It will all come back to you. You just need to be calm. You just need to be composed at that particular time. And that's only possible if you've rested well.
Right. When we talk of preparing for the exam, and we also talk of, the attention span and the focus that one puts in. And we know that today, because of different reasons, attention spans are falling. What would be some good ways to increase focus and attention span?
Like I said, some bit of meditation, yoga is something that really helps the children. And I've seen it over the years. Whenever I also talk to the children, I do a little bit of brain gym exercise with them. And I do the yoga and the deep breathing exercises with them. So it's important that they eat well. They do not eat junk food, drink colas, etc. So they should ensure that they are having some milk at night, because it acts as a tranquilizer for the children. And they sleep well after that. And also the deep breathing exercises and a little bit of meditation, when they connect with themselves, then they are able to concentrate more onto their studies.
It's addictive also, and that's the challenge.
Instagram, Facebook, everything they should, Snapchats and all, they should just shut their accounts for a little while and make sure that, and WhatsApp, they should just connect with themselves. That is going to reduce the anxiety in them. And they should understand that whatever they've studied till now, it is now the time to revise and to firm up all the concepts, because the papers are going to be competency-based papers. Concept-based questions are going to be there. They will only be able to answer if they've understood the concepts well.
One question that often comes up when we see young people today is in terms of their body biorhythm, and most of them are awake at night and, kind of little slow during the day because at night they're awake, they're sharpest at night. And the exams are all held in the morning. What do you suggest some changes in your diurnal patterns that need to be brought in because, feel sleepy during the day and awake at night because exams are in the morning? Does that also matter?
Absolutely. I always tell the parents that 10 o'clock, 10:30, whatever is your sleeping time when you go off to sleep, make sure that the phones are switched off and they are in your room. And the children pick up the phones in the morning because if they do not have the phones in their, custody at night, then the only thing that they have to do is sleep. So here the parents have to monitor that the children are sleeping and they are sleeping well at night.
Some advice, Dr. Jyoti, for children who have maybe for some reason not performed well during the year. Their hopes invariably come crashing down when they say, oh God, I haven't done well during the year. This exam will also go like that. Would you look at year-end exams as an opportunity because everything is external, it's completely neutral, that they have an opportunity to really actually prove their past performance wrong and do very well?
Absolutely. There are many children who do not study through the year, but they really work hard at the end and they are able to catch up. They may not be able to do 100% of the syllabus like the others who have literally been studying the entire year, but there's again hope. The pass percentage is only 33%, and looking at the past papers, looking at the sample papers, looking at the papers of pre-boards that their own teachers are making or the teachers around other schools are making, the children can very well prepare for, let us say, 70% or 80% of the syllabus very well. They can do the selective study at this point of time and ensure that whatever time they have really prepared well, and then they can give the exam. So passing in the board exams is really not too much of a challenge because 33% is really very, very achievable, I would say. And they should not worry.
And also look at it like as a big exam, but as a practice for big exams because they would be giving more exams later. And this is a nice way to get a good, healthy system of preparing for exams in order.
Absolutely. So exams actually are not a choice. If they are studying in 12th, they should have planned well to study. But as you said, that there are also a lot of problems that the children face. There are health issues. There are other problems in the family. And during COVID, the past 2 years, 3 years have not been very kind to the families as well. So there have been challenges. So we are all there as teachers to help the children. And if there is a child who comes up to us, even in the end, though the teachers are always the ones who are knocking at their doors that please prepare. But in case they do at the end decide that yes, we have to take up the examinations and something has to be done, it's not very difficult to pass and to cross the other side.
Okay, right. So now we are studying and exams are now coming around. We have a concentrated stretch of time that we have to prepare for the paper. What do you think is a good time to take a break and for how long?
Actually, that all depends upon what kind of preparation have the children done. As I said, that their breaks should be only while they are sleeping. And their break should only be like their eating breaks, because once they go back to their phone on the social media or they get to watch some content on television, the children are not coming back. Yes, a good stroll in the evening in the park should be good where they can, be with the nature. They could look at the other children, but come back and start studying again. So small break, maybe 15 minutes to half an hour should be good in the evening.
Right. You can take your breaks, but what you do in the breaks is more critical than the time you go for. So that's beautiful. We'll now take a break and we will say thank you very much, Dr. Jyoti, for coming on to our show.
Thank you.
You are listening to a discussion on Pariksha Pe Charcha-Masterclass for Exam Warriors. The participants were Dr. Jyoti Gupta, educationist, and Gaura Dhawan Lal, AIR correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.